Alright, what's up, chat? NBBL draft analysis for the Midnight Glass scores with your guy, Spider, here. Now, obviously, we're coming off the heels of a big championship in the Academy division, which they did the draft order, like the little wheel spinny thing to randomize the draft order. They did that while I was at work, and I got second overall, which is pretty funny, because if I got first overall, which is what I got in Academy and why I did so well with Qian Pao and everything, I would have picked Qian Pao again. I had no problem picking that thing again. But I got second overall, which is kind of crazy that I got that close. But alas, that's not what's going to happen this season, which is alright. I grabbed Great Tusk second overall because I think it is just a very versatile Pokemon. It was really either this or Polt, but I already have Polt in WPF. I think Great Tusk is a great centerpiece to just build around. It's got phenomenal stats. Photosynthesis is a great ability in certain circumstances. I do get some really cool moves like, obviously my dual stab with Close Combat and Headlong Rush or Earthquake is going to be really powerful. I have more than enough coverage to hit flying types with like Ice Spinner and Stone Edge. I get Stealth Rocks, I get Bulk Up plus Rapid Spin. Obviously, I think this is the best Rapid Spinner in the game. You could make an argument for Terrapagos, but I think Great Tusk, its ability to hit ghost types not only super effectively, but knocking off their item. And it's just a good wall breaker, but it also has some really good bulk, base 115 HP and 131 defense is going to really allow us to take a lot of physical attacks. And of course, base 87 speed is not the best, but it's definitely respectable. You have to respect that speed tier. So next up, I got Gouging Fire, which is, obviously hinting towards a Sun team at that point. I didn't expect Gouging Fire to be there. I'm just glad I got Gouging Fire. Obviously, it also gets Photosynthesis, which is going to boost its highest stat in the Sun. And it's a Fire type and a Dragon type, and it's very similar to Great Tusk, but it's just a different typing. Burning Bulwark is a really cool move, basically King Shield, but instead of just lowering your attack, it burns you, which is even worse. It can also be pretty defensive and annoying to deal with that way. It gets Morning Sun, which is very helpful for, if you're in the Sun, you get, I think 75% health. And of course, Dragon Dance is a move that this Pokemon gets, and that makes it even more threatening. I could run just like a Choice Banded set, or I could run Dragon Dance with like a potential Morning Sun or a Substitute. This Pokemon's really good behind a Substitute because of how good its natural base stats are. Next up is Mew. I drafted Mew because I felt like, I didn't want to go too Sun dependent at this point. It's pretty obvious that I'm going to run a Sun team. And although it lost, a few niche things here, Mew is still very good, for being, I think it was 15 points. Base 100 stats across the board is obviously very nice. It allows you to run a bulky set, or a setup set. Almost any move you want you're going to get here. It can still heal with something like a Pain Split or a Rest. Obviously not the most reliable, but if I need to, I can. I do get Volt Switch and U-Turn, which is really helpful. So far I don't really have that, so yeah, I just see Mew as kind of being a glue piece that can fill whatever role I need it to week. Next up, I got Sandy Shocks. Now this might be a little early for something like this because it's the 4th round. Keep in mind, if you're running a weather team, a lot of those Pokemon, like for example Walking Wake, now I didn't draft Walking Wake, but you don't need to draft that Pokemon 5th overall or 4th overall, even though it's like 16 or 15 points in most leagues. You can draft that last in a lot of scenarios, unless you're fighting going up against a different Sun team in the draft. But I wasn't at this point. There was no other really weather teams, I think. So I could push back everything I wanted, Sun related to the end because no one's going to draft that. That allows me to draft everything else a few rounds up, so that it's much less likely that I get sniped. Sandy Shocks is a pretty cool Photosynthesis user. Obviously, it can spike stack, which is really nice. It doesn't put that as much pressure on Mew to be able to do that. It's powerful in its own right with base 121 special attack. Now, if I want to boost my speed with Photosynthesis, I'm going to have to dial back the EVs on special attack a little bit. Earth Power plus Discharge is pretty nice. I do get Volt Switch, of course, Power Gem, Flash Cannon. I could use Iron Defense plus Body Press. That is a possibility. And yeah, that's the Sandy Shocks. It could be a lead to set up spikes, but it could also do some big damage, in the Sun. Next up, I got Kliff. So I just feel like on a weather team, it makes a lot of sense to draft something like this, specifically a Sun or Rain team because it does get Sunny Day. So with a Heat Rock, I can get the priority Sun up, and that could be really nice. I can also set up screens. I could set up spikes. I could Thunder Wave things, I could Foul Play to prevent setup. I could set up myself with Calm Mind, Iron Defense, plus like Draining Kiss. It's very passive, but it's also very annoying for setup Pokemon because of all of its options, Prankster wise. Steel Fairy, I needed both of those typings on my draft, and its base stats just aren't the best, I'm going to be honest, but it remediates that, and, you know, like I said, its ability to set up its, or boost its stats, set up screens, slow things down. So yeah, it's just a nice support to the team, I think. Kind of like another glue piece like Mous. Alright, so next up I drafted Araquanid. Now, I like Araquanid. I've always liked Araquanid. I think Water Bubble makes it very fun. Like I said, I didn't draft Walking Wake. I didn't really want it because I already had a Dragon type. I didn't want to spend that many points on a Water type. And, you know, Araquanid, while it is on a Sun team, and that is potentially negative chemistry, it could also, you know, just set up webs. If that's its only job, then that's fine. It can still be annoying with moves like lunge and, you know, body slam, potentially paralyzing things. I do get Iron Defense. I do get Mirror Coat, which is pretty cool because its special defense is so high. Infestation is really nice. And like I said, if the sun's not up, I'm still hitting things really hard with Liquidation. All right, next up is a bit of an interesting pick. I picked Tornadus. I do get Weather Ball with this Pokemon, so that could be nice in the sun. If I do decide to do that, it could be a nice little, you know, bulk up, rest kind of acrobatics with Chesto Berry, setup sweeper if I want to do that. It could also just be a breaker. It's got really good offensive stats, as you can see. It's got a nice speed tier. Knockoff is a great move as well. I do get Prankster Taunt, Nasty Plot as well. Good coverage in, you know, Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave, as well as Grass Knot, Heat Wave, Weather Ball, like I said, Focus Blast, Dark Pulse, Extra Sensory. So yeah, just a little gadget of sorts. This was not my first flying type. I wanted Kilowattrel, but that got taken in like round 4 or something. So yeah, that's a Tornadus. Not sure, you know, if it's going to be on the team all season. Not sure how often I'm going to use it. But next up is Ambipom. Now, Ambipom is a Terra Captain. I actually think Ambipom's going to come very often. A bunch of really cool coverage moves on the physical side. Gunk Shot, Ice Punch, Knockoff, Low Kick, Seed Bomb, Thunder Punch, Triple Axle, Trailblaze, U-Turn, obviously Fake Out, plus the Technician boost with the stab makes it really nice. I just think it has a nice little niche with its base 115 speed and its ability to click Fake Out with the Technician boost and be able to U-turn around and kind of be just annoying in that way. Next up I got Misdreavus. Very fun pick for me. Now, obviously the stats aren't really there, but I did really want a ghost type, and I wanted a ground immunity, because at this point I'm pretty earthquake weak, as you could see. I like Misdreavus because it's just kind of a niche Eviolite gadget Pokemon. It is a Terra Captain as well, and, you know, I can click Perish Strong against things. Mean Look, I can also click Mean Look. I didn't even know that. I thought it lost Mean Look this gen, but I could trap things in that way. That's kind of something that my opponents are always going to have to think about. Whenever this Pokemon touches the field, I could trap something and just and then they're done, you know, as long as they can't knock me out. And base 85 speed is nothing to sneeze at. I get Taunt, I get Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, Thunder Wave, Psychic Noise could be really nice, Memento, even Nasty Plot, Destiny Bond, Curse. This Pokemon gets all of those cool little ghost type niche moves. You never know, it's 2 points, so, you know, for what it can do, I think it's very valuable. So in the 10th round, I grabbed Torkoal, which is obviously going to be the Sunsetter. Now, it was a little bit of a gamble to wait this long to grab it. There was no other Sun team, and I don't think people are going to just draft Torkoal to spite me. If they did, I would have gone Ninetales. Having Torkoal here is obviously really nice. I do like Ninetales because of its ability to Baton Pass, but in my opinion, Torkoal, because of the way my team's set up, you know, I want another Stealth Rocker, I want another Rapid Spinner, and, you know, if I lose some momentum, that's fine. I figure I have enough power on the team at this point to kind of remediate the need for momentum. I get Will-O-Wisp, obviously. You know, any fire type move is going to be automatically boosted because I'm going to have the sun up. Body Press is really nice because my physical defense is so high. I get Earth Power. And of course Shell Smash, which is probably never going to come because even at +2 I outspeed nothing. But you never know. So Torkoal's a Sunsetter. That's really all I got to say. Obviously it's going to be running Heat Rock, or Boots probably every single week. And last but not least, I grabbed Venusaur, my last Terra Captain. So obviously Venusaur in the sun, doubling its speed with Chlorophyll, being able to click Growth in the sun, going to boost its attack and special attack by 2. This is a very good Life Orb user because you can heal yourself with Giga Drain, which is obviously really nice. Bulky Waters are great against sun teams, which is why Venusaur is so important on this team, because even Sandy Shocks doesn't really want to switch into water type attacks, right? Even if they're in the sun. Earth Power is nice to hit the poison types that resist my dual stab. Weather Ball, I can also hit the steel types that resist my dual stab, as long as I'm in the sun, right? So yeah, Venusaur is just kind of a sweeper in the sun, similar to Gouging Fire and potentially Great Tusk. I like how this team doesn't need to be a sun team. It can function outside of the sun, in my opinion. Finally, we're going to talk about the Terra types. Now, Ambipom is Terra Normal, Ground, and Ice. Now, for this league, you do have to make one of your typings a stab. So obviously Ambipom's only stab is normal, so that's one of them. Ground is nice because it'll allow me to hit steel and rock types super effectively. Obviously steel and rock types resist my stab, so gaining that ground stab could be really helpful. And then of course ice will just boost triple axle, which if you didn't know, triple axle, as long as I hit all three, is going to be 120 base power. And then with Technician, it becomes 180 because all of those 3 hits are 60 power or less. So it's going to boost all 3 of those by 50%, which is going to be 180. And then you put stab on that, and I mean, what does that turn into? Like 270? It's insane. Ice type is already a really good offensive typing. So Mischievous is Terra, Ghost, Steel, and Fairy. I did want to run Electric. I thought that would be really cool to have no weaknesses, but Electric, in my opinion, just isn't a very good defensive typing. I think Steel, getting rid of that ground weakness, becoming an immunity, I think it just makes sense. Fairy is just a defensive typing as well. And then finally, Venusaur is just going to be Terra, Grass, Ground, and Fire. I think Grass is important because if I need to get the extra power on Giga Drain, that could be really helpful for healing myself. Again, I expect Venusaur to be Life Orb most weeks I bring it, so being able to heal itself with the Giga Drain is going to be really important, and boosting that damage with Terra Grass could be helpful. Ground and Fire, just because Earth Power and Weather Ball are very important coverage moves for this Pokemon, and I think that, if I need to boost that, I'll definitely do that for sure. So that is the team. Your Midnight Gliscors are jumping in head first into NBBL Season 4. I'm really excited to use this. I think it's a very fun team, but we'll see. So hope you guys enjoyed this little video. Make sure you click the like button and the subscribe button and all that fun stuff, because these videos will be coming out every week, and you get to see a brand new team and a brand new opponent and all that every week. So that's exciting for me for sure. I hope you're excited. Let me know what you think about the team in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next one.